Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your September 2018 mid-month general readings. Thanks for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. I am still in Eastern Europe, but I will be back in the States, back in California by the beginning of October. So I look forward to seeing you all again there. So thank you for all those of you who continue to watch my YouTube channel, to follow, share, like, and subscribe. And for those of you who continue to reach out, all of my regular and new clients as well, for personal readings. Always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for always keeping me so busy. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, turnaround time's pretty quick. I can usually get back to you within the first 24 hours with more information. And scheduling can be anywhere from a few days upwards of a couple of weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time. So if you're interested, you can get more information and my contact details by either clicking on the description bar of the videos I post or going to my YouTube channel's homepage, clicking on that little About button. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as we can. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. I do readings in all areas of life: career, work, and finance, investment readings, love and romance, reconciliation, compatibility, messages from passed on loved ones. And I also do 6 and 12-month overviews so you can see what's coming in your life for the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. As well as gift readings. We do have the holidays coming up. All right, let's move right into this. This is for the air sign of Gemini, our twins, for the remainder of September 2018. So we're looking at the last 2 weeks of September for Gemini. Watch your rising and your moon sign videos too if you know them. They can provide additional clarification because general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody watching because everybody's lives are so different. The energy always remains the same though. Okay, Gemini, we have the Emperor followed by the Four of Swords. We have the Ten of Wands followed by the Fool. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and advice is the Eight of Swords. You're probably like the 5th sign so far that's had the Ten of Wands show up. So definitely a burden coming to an end. Some of you may be feeling a bit burdened and like it's time for that burden to come to an end. Your overall energy and advice for the last half of September 2018 is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords, I don't always like seeing this card come up because it typically represents that you're feeling trapped, held hostage, bound, powerless, helpless somehow, or not able to make the choices or changes that you want to. But the Eight of Swords is illusionary energy, and here's where the advice part of it comes in. You can see it particularly in how you think, because swords is air energy, and in the tarot, swords is governed by the element of air. And in the tarot, the element of air is usually manifested in how we think. It's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. And it's the energy of our words and our ideas, our belief systems, our perspectives, how we think and what we think about things, because that directly affects the way that we see the world, the way that we relate to the world, and the way that we communicate with the world and people in that world as well. So it's all about what goes on up in here. So the Eight of Swords, feeling trapped, like you can't get out of something or you're bound to something. You can see that the woman is on her knees, which does imply a certain sense of vulnerability or, you know, being victim or being vulnerable, although nobody's actually holding her down there. You can see that there's chains wrapped around her wrists, binding her wrists together, but on the other hand, they're not connected to anything or anyone. If she just twisted her wrist, those chains would fall off. She could stand up on her own 2 feet, take the blindfold off, see her situation for what it actually really is. The gaps between these swords are plenty wide enough for her to just remove herself from whatever it is that she's feeling or he's feeling trapped by. It's illusionary energy, and that means that so it looks like, Gemini, that there's something that you feel like you can't get away from, you can't get out of. It could be a relationship, it could be a relationship of some kind or a connection with someone, it could be a job or a career path you feel like you're trapped in, you're stuck, you can't get out for a variety of reasons. Now, the source of where it's coming from might be valid. but there's always a way. And when the Eight of Swords comes up, it represents that you can free yourself from it. There's always consequences to the choices we make, and it might not be an easy thing to do. But when the Eight of Swords comes up, the advice and the guidance is that you can free yourself. You are not, it's a matter of perspective. What's actually keeping her or him feeling like she or he is trapped is this mindset that she is, because she's only looking at it from one perspective. For example, if you feel like you're trapped within a certain job or a certain career path because you can't get another one, or you won't get one that makes as much money, or you can't, there's a whole variety of reasons. You have a family, you have whatever, you have to pay your bills, you're worried that you won't get anything better or something. It might not be easy, but you can always remove yourself from it. Spirit loves us and they want our joy and fulfillment, so there's always a way. So remember that over the last half of September 2018. That's your overall energy and guidance. So around the middle to the month, third week of the month, time, of course, always being fluid, especially in general readings, we have the Emperor and the Four of Swords. So the Emperor is the ultimate paternal father figure of the tarot. And for some of you, this may have something to do with your father or a father figure. It could be perhaps care of your father, or perhaps maybe a challenging relationship with a father or a father figure. It could be somebody else who has that similar energy, because the Emperor, for example, in business, this could be, somebody usually of an older age, someone of seniority, someone of position and status, or with decision-making capabilities, like the president or VIP or your supervisor or something of that sort, a judge, something like that. So it could be an actual person that has you feeling kind of this energy of maybe feeling kind of tired, like maybe you want to bring something to an end, or feeling kind of trapped within a situation. It could be a boss. It could be an actual father or father figure, particularly if it's someone that you're caring for, or something that is a burden, because right next to the Emperor is that Ten of Wands too, that carrying a heavy burden, but it being time, or feeling like something's a heavy burden and that you want to let go of it. Now, the Emperor, if it doesn't represent an actual person in your life, the Emperor on a fundamental energy level represents structure, control, staying within the lines, going by the policy, going by the book, being self-controlled and accountable for yourself, because the Emperor has a pretty big job. He has an empire to run. That's even more a bigger job than the kings. They have a kingdom to run, but the Emperor has an entire empire to run, a whole collection of kingdoms. So every single thing he does, every change he makes, every decision he makes affects a wide variety of people. So he's very, very, very careful, measured, considerate, thoughtful about the decisions and things he makes, he decides to do, or anything he sets in motion, because he has to. It's a big job. The Emperor is about structure and control, because the Emperor lives in a world where, the planes and trains and buses need to run on time, and everything needs to function a certain way, or there's chaos and things begin to fall apart. And for some of you, this might be you. This might be you manifesting as the Emperor, particularly because, right next to it's the Ten of Wands. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling just tired and overwhelmed, and it's so much, and I'm tired. And what clarifies the Emperor also is the Four of Swords. Now, the Four of Swords also comes up when somebody's feeling tired, maybe a bit overwhelmed, worn out, exhausted. It's a card that represents needing to take better care of yourself, or needing to take some time out, take a sabbatical, take a vacation, or take some time out, even if it's just temporary. The swords pointing down, particularly from your mind, because it looks like you feel like you can't get out of whatever is causing this energy. And remember, swords is all about that mental energy. So the swords pointing down at this soldier or knight represents whatever the battle or the challenge or the burden is, and his own sword is lying close by his hand should he need it, but for the time being he's not engaged. He's taken his helmet and his hand gauntlets off to rest. Again, this is a card that comes up about when you need rest, respite, and restoration. You also have the Ten of Wands, which is feeling burdened, and they're all next to, one is to the left and one is right underneath the Emperor. So if it's not another person that you might be feeling this way about or in regards to, it could be you feeling, very overwhelmed and very burdened and tired about continuing to do something you've been doing for a while. You're just tired of it, but at the same time you feel like you can't get out of it, or you can't release yourself from it from the time being. But remember that you're not. If this is really a situation or a relationship, or, or a job or something that's really negative and harmful for you, of course you need to start exploring, perhaps making some major changes and decisions in your life, not spontaneously or impulsively, because when we do that based on, our emotions or feeling really tired in the moment, we don't always make the best decisions for ourselves. So it looks like the last couple of weeks has more this contemplative energy, but also strong advice about when you feel like you're trapped and held hostage, you're not. There's always a way. But it looks like you need to maybe take a step back, take care of yourself and better care of yourself in whatever way that you can over the next couple of weeks. If you can't take time off or take a vacation or, remove yourself temporarily from whatever is causing this burden, then you need to focus on carving out regular niches of time for yourself where you can do something that makes you feel better, rest, recharge, take a walk, take a break, go to bed early, say no to somebody, take a bath, take a Valium, open a bottle of wine, not at the same time, of course. Whatever it is that you, maybe not taking Valium, that was more of a joke. It looks like you're tired and you need to address that in whatever way makes sense for you. So then we have the Ten of Wands at the Fool at or towards the end of September 2018. So we have carrying a heavy burden. Tens represent cycles ending, which represents that it either is coming to an end or it needs to come to an end, or that you're feeling, again, because your overall energy is that, feeling like you can't get out of something, just feeling tired. So, and we've all been through times like this. I understand it. I don't like seeing it when it comes out for people because I can understand what it feels like. It feels like you're in maybe a low spot and you're just too bogged down with something. And you're spending some time considering new beginnings as well, because you also have the Fool while you're feeling overburdened and something is coming to an end. And by the way, he's like looking right at the Emperor too. I'm tired. Let me put some of this down. The Fool is about potential and possibility. The Fool is about considering what might be. Usually there's something that comes to an end and then a new beginning. And the Fool is about that energy in between where anything's possible, everything's possible. You haven't started the new journey yet. It's about maybe doing something you haven't done before, taking some risks, stepping off the beaten path, getting out of your comfort zone, because that's what the Fool does. He reminds us that it's not just about being goal driven and goal focused. It's also about the journey itself, because he's just starting out. He's the very first major arcana card. He's at the 0, and all of the cards after that are about his journey, our journey through life. So Gemini, it just looks like you're feeling tired. Take better care of yourself over the next couple of weeks. You may be thinking about what else you could do if you weren't doing what you were doing now that's causing you this sense of feeling so tired. Some of you may already be actually acting on that. Some of you may have brought something to an end and you're beginning something new, although I feel more that you're in something that you want to come to an end, or you're just feeling kind of maybe temporarily tired and you're thinking about what else, what other possibilities are there. Maybe not for leaving it behind, particularly if it's a job you can't just quit right now, or if it's a relationship, particularly a caretaking relationship where you of course can't walk away from the person. Maybe thinking of some ways that you could alleviate the pressure, maybe call on other people for help or manage or modify your schedule in some way. And get more rest and sleep over the next couple of weeks, definitely. So Gemini, that pretty much wraps up your September 2018 mid-month general readings. I hope that you found it helpful. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, please feel free to email me directly at maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as we can. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and all that info you can get by going to my YouTube channel's homepage, clicking on that little About button, or you can click on the description bar of all the videos that I post. I will see you all again in just a couple of weeks for the October 2018 general readings, and I should be back in the States by then. So I look forward to seeing you all back there. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.